Sekou Style. This is your man Sekou Kessley. Today we're gonna be talking about the Genocide King, the butcher, or I would say the beast of the Congo. He's none other but King Leopold II. He's someone who nobody talk about because, you know, he was king of Belgium. And again, this goes to the suffering and the punishment that Africans have, received in these European hands. And people don't want to talk about it. When you look at history, it's like it's barely talked about, or history books, people would just mention few things. Today we're gonna talk about it more. Again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, comment. Let's keep the discussion going. Again, this is Sekou Kessley on Sekou Style. We're gonna get into it. Let's go. Alright, King Leopold. I will call him the beast of the Congo. This man literally had Congo as his farm. During the Berlin Conference, when European power decided to go, separate Africa to give themselves piece of Africa, and he decided, hey guys, I don't want to be a colonizer, just give me this Congo, almost the entire Great Lake region of Africa. Congo is a huge part, Congo is huge in Africa. And, he decided to have that whole landmass, the whole area as his personal farm. And boy, this guy was a monster. Words are inadequate in describing some of the heinous crime that happened to the people. But they're estimated that between 10 to 15 million Congolese died because of this guy's atrocity, either directly or indirectly. Of course, all the people there were working from him because he has his personal army in the Congo, not the Belgian army, but his personal army. Again, he was the king of Belgium with his personal army in Africa, in the Congo, killing the people, making them do forced labor, brutalizing them for them to work so that they could give him what he wanted. In the plantation, of course, anything he wanted to plant in his farm, he needs mass production. He will kill the people so that they produce it for him, right? And this is someone that the history books barely mention of him. Because why? He was a European king who has killed millions of Africans. But because African lives barely matters, so who's gonna break a sweat to write about him? Until recently now, people are starting to have a little bit of courage to talk about this man. And today, I wanna dedicate this channel to talk about this man. And those of you who are gonna be watching this, and if you have more atrocity that he committed, write about it. Because they came to Africa and divided our continent among themselves and started brutalizing our people for their own selfish need. And that's what I keep saying. It's hard for Africa to trust, Europeans for them to be able to work together. King Leopold is a classic example of this, right? This man, he exploited, plundered, looted, killed, and brutalized the Congolese people. Arguably, since his time, the Congo has never been able to really become what it's capable of being. Congo, keep in mind, Congo is one of the richest in terms of natural resources, in terms of even the people, the culture, one of the richest in Africa.
Purchase your tracks.
But Congo remains one of the poorest countries in the world because of King Leopold, because it all started with him. He he started killing our people. He started brutalizing our people, humiliating our people. This is a trauma that continues. No reparation has been talked about at all, right? Millions, not only like, it's not like 1 million, 2 million now. I'm talking about 10 to 15 million, according to American researchers, actually. And so this is not me saying it. It's online, it's there. The research are there to prove that there's a record 10 to 15 million. So before even the genocide, this guy was ahead of his time in terms of, his genocidal behavior towards the Africans. Before the term genocide was coined, came to be about, the atrocity that this man committed against the African surpassed this genocide, at least some of the major genocides that we know of. So, when it comes to what he had done, it's like he made Hitler looks like Hitler was joking around, honestly speaking. But not to overemphasize or de-emphasize any form of genocide. Every genocide is genocide. I just want for the African people to start knowing the history of what happened in the hands of these colonizers. A king having a huge portion of Africa, literally the middle part of Africa almost, because when you look at the Congo from the Great Lake region, the entire place is a huge land and controlling a lot of people, killing and reducing the population of a whole region. Now, how does that impact our people? Up to now, we haven't received any forgiveness, barely. Then they made some public statement acknowledging it at some point, but they haven't been official. Some kind of reparation or whatever. We haven't done retribution, but some kind of like fund or something to give to the people of the Congo to try to help the country genuinely. After his brutality, when the Congo got independence in the 60s, this continued in different ways, which we will talk about hopefully in other videos, because the CIA themselves got involved. Big Brother America got involved in killing the democratically elected prime minister of the time, Patrice Lumumba, because he had his own mind. He knew the history. He wanted to change course to put his people in a better path. They killed Patrice Lumumba, brought in a dictator who would benefit himself and his cronies. Mobutu Sese Seko, one of the most corrupt leaders Africa had ever experienced. Now, the Americans, the Belgians, and arguably even the UN was involved then. They were all involved in destabilizing that region of Africa. And then keep in mind, if the Congo, because of the resources that the Congo has, even the river, and when they have actually put to work for the Africans, the Congo alone, not including Nigeria, South Africa, all other big power players, the Congo alone become a peaceful and vibrant nation with all the natural resources and diamond, you name it. Even the laptops, all the camera that we're using right now to record, the materials are coming from the Congo. Now, if this country is able to really function as a vibrant country that it's supposed to be with the natural resources, Africa would never suffer. But because these colonizers, they know that, they do what? They don't want a good leader in Africa. Since World War II, the Congo has experienced more killing than any other place. Millions of people die in the Congo almost every year, but no one is underreported. Why? But it's because, again, it starts from the Genesis, when the West got into Africa. And the Genesis here is King Leopold II, the guy who masterminded the genocide and violated every right of individuals in the Congo. So today, we're going to talk about King Leopold II of Belgium. To all the Belgian people, You guys, he may not be your king now, but he was your king once. And the atrocity that he committed, you guys should be responsible to the Congolese people. Do what needs to be done. But sadly, that's not the case. Congolese will go to Belgium and they'll be treated like shit, as always. Africans will be looked down upon. Nobody cares because they are black, right? Genocide is committed against them. Nobody cares. And they go to Europe because European policies and European leaders has damaged their countries with their policies. They run away, they go to Europe, they're still treated like shit there. Now, when I talk about that, some people get offended. Oh, Sekou, why are you saying that? But it's like, no, I don't want to take the blame away from African leaders who are just being assholes and not doing the work and not being good leaders, right? I don't want to take away that. But the truth here is, European leaders were involved in undermining the social fabric of many African countries, undermining everything that a good society should stand for. So in that case, now if you see Africans running to Europe, they are running to Europe because that's the only place that they could go and try to find some kind of greener pasture, whatever that means, right? Some kind of peace, some kind of living wages, to try to live like any other human being. That's why Africans are going to Europe, nothing else. So, but you went to Africa, or your great-grandparents went to Africa, or your grandparents went to Africa, exploited, abused, brutalized these people. You guys took the money, the wealth, and created your cities. Now you want the Africans to remain in Africa, where you guys are always exploiting them also, even in current time. Almost all the wars that you see in the Congo around Africa is sponsored by who? Right? But let's focus on King Leopold today. Right? Let's focus on this guy. Can you imagine he had the audacity to create a humanitarian organization? A man who's responsible either directly or indirectly for the killing of millions of people, created a humanitarian organization. Under that humanitarian organization, the exploitation continued. It's sickening. The humanitarian organization is called International African Society. Really? You use that as a guise to exploit and brutalize and kill people. That's what I wanted to talk about today. The Belgian people, your king, King Leopold, had a very messy history in Africa. He really did mess a lot of things up. And for the lack of better words, because of him, the Congo is where it is today. No one should shy away from that history. Because every country has a beginning, a modern day Congo. Because when he went there, he turned the whole country into his farm. Killed people to make profit. Was he able to share that with the Congolese people? Was he able to were you guys able to take responsibility for that?
Purchase your tracks today.
But before I let you go, I want for you guys to listen to another white man saying this, because sometimes when I talk it, people think, oh no, it's like Sekou's just making things up. But no, this is not made up. This is real, and everybody should learn about this history. So please listen and learn. Let's keep it moving. Africa for Africans is about time. We're gonna make this happen, slowly but surely. Thank you.
Who's a historical figure that people never talk about, good or bad?
This fucking guy. King Leopold II, King of Belgium. I say this without a shred of hyperbole. This dude is the worst dude who has ever lived. This guy may have been the King of Belgium, but he should be called the King of Genocide. Honestly, he makes Hitler's numbers look like fucking rookie numbers. This guy turned the entire Congo into one giant rubber plantation, over 1 million square miles. From 1885 to 1960, this was going on. My mom was already alive when this shit was going on. This is the dude who popularized cutting off hands for not reaching quota. This is the dude who popularized using melee weapons to execute people because bullets were too expensive, quote unquote, to use on them. Thanks to this dude, the Congolese population dropped by a whopping 75%. He genocided up to 13 million people in the Congo. In 1901, over 500,000 people died just from disease alone. This person is an absolute monster.